This video starts our adventure into working with these 6 different postures and in the advancement of relaxing our posture and doing those stances better to improve your movement ability, starting from the basics of how do I correct those postures as you saw at the opening of this video. Both of those gentlemen were stiffened in their posture. One was using a walker, standing stiffly, shoulders up with arms tight because of the hands squeezing on the handbrakes of the walker. Knees are stiff and trying to turn his neck to see what's just behind him. The other is standing in front of the chair very stiffly with arms out, shoulders shrugged up, stiffened knees. And then, as you saw, he was leaning a little bit forward and then went up onto his tiptoes and then finally changed his footing to regain some stiffened stability. His posture didn't change. He still had this going on and the stiffening in his knees, but he was able to bring those shoulders back a little bit just to even that pressure out on his feet and to be able to stop to correct that tipping forward. Many of you out there do that same exact thing. Some of you aren't as guarded and stiffened as these 2 examples, and some of you are more stiffened, and many of you are right there with them. So it's what do I do to get rid of that stiffening so I'm not in that stiffened, teetering posture and locked up posture where I can't move and I can't do anything. That's what we're talking about in this video. We need to undo the stiffness where it's the least, and that's up here in our arms, the upper body, and it's the most down on our feet. But in order to get that stiffness in our feet loosened up, we have to do a lot of work up here first. But the big thing is we need to stay on those stabilized feet to be able to relax this up here to be able to get down there. If we don't stay on the stabilized feet, everything's gone. It'll be like James was tipping forward. If you can't stay on the stabilized, flattened feet, fear is going to reign, stiffness, there's no way you're going to get rid of it. Compare that to what you see with Carmen with the walker. He doesn't look fearful, but of course he is. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be all tight and stiff. The difference you see there is only because he has a walker to help stabilize him. So with Carmen, you see his upper body is leaning forward in most of those pictures. It means he's putting pressure into that walker, and that's why he's squeezing on the brakes so the walker doesn't move away from him. And that's why he's able to stay there and not have the very concerned looks on his face as you see with James. And that's why he's not falling forward. If he didn't have that walker, he'd be over on the carpet. We talked in a previous video also about starting this relaxation process in the chair, learning how to use your hands while keeping them relaxed, pointing with your elbow, moving your arm with your upper arm, those type of things. All of that stuff is the same when you're standing on your feet, just more difficult. So the question we're going to have to answer first is, how do I keep my feet stabilized, flattened on the floor while I'm standing up so I can go through this relaxation stuff? So let's get to that very important question. For that, I need to get my tuchus off this stool and stand up. Okay, I stayed stable doing that. In fact, I'm still stable, standing right here. How am I doing that? How am I staying stable on my feet, moving this thing around? All of that is your posture, the control you have of your posture, or the control you don't have. So I was able to get up from the stool and stay on my flattened feet. And as I came back to get this and then pick it up, I compensated for this extra weight with my upper body and my hips moving to hold that pressure stable in my feet, not moving in my feet. That's where we're going with all this. So let me put this out of the way over here. A rather good thing for this video, and maybe a not so good thing for me, is today I'm having a not so great movement ability day. In other words, I'm a little bit clumsy. So you'll see some of the tipping and swaying that you're going through as well. It's okay. You don't need to get wigged out with it. You just need to know, how do I stabilize with it? Now, I'm going to stand at kind of a 3/4 here so you can see a little bit of both profile and straight on. Now, when we're up here with our shoulders, shrugging our shoulders up and our arms out, we're doing that because we're trying to help balance ourselves. But in fact, this is destroying our balance. If I'm standing here, and I want you to try this as well, not try it, I want you to do it and feel it. So if I'm standing here and I just squat, like in the stance, I can feel pressure in my feet increasing. And as I come up, I can feel that pressure decreasing. Now, down, increasing pressure in my feet. Up, decreasing pressure on my feet. Granted, it's not very much, but it is there. There is a change. And it's going to take some of you a while to be able to feel that. Because my body weight stays the same. I have the same body weight whether I'm standing here or whether I'm standing here. Very true. Some will say, oh, I'm lowering my center of gravity. That's why. No, it's still the same body weight. The difference is you're starting to use these big muscles in your leg. You're using these muscles back here, the hamstrings, to keep you from falling down. Those are contracting and they're adding, along with other big muscles, they're adding pressure into your feet. As you come back up, they're doing less work, adding less pressure into your feet. So I'm up here, the pressure is lighter. I can feel myself a little bit less stable because I'm having an off day in my movement capabilities. So when I stiffen my arms and bring my shoulders up, like the two were at the beginning of the video, now I'm a lot more unsteady on my feet because I've decreased that pressure more in my feet just a little bit. And the bigger thing is, now as I'm stiffening up, my body is less able to counterbalance for the small changes in my upper body position. Because the upper body position, remember, controls where the pressure is located in your feet. So the first thing we have to do is keep these shoulders stabilized so we keep that pressure stabilized over our feet. Okay, so here we're swaying around. So we want to be able to first, bring the shoulders forward slowly and very small movement. Bring them slowly to where I feel a little bit more stable. That's all you need to feel. That's all you need to know that those are my flattened feet. When I'm feeling more stable, when I'm feeling my body is not moving one way or the other, those are your flat feet, and start feeling for that security. Well, when I'm there, then the next thing I need to do is just relax my hands and allow my shoulders to drop straight down. And when they do that, the pressure does not change on my feet because the shoulders stayed where they're supposed to be and they went straight down. Now, if you shrug your shoulders, forward you go. And if you bring them back, back you go. You just need to relax your hands. Like James was standing there with his arms out, knees straight, and he's a little bit forward. The only thing he did when he was up on his toes was he brought his shoulders back just a little bit. Now watch, I'm here on my toes. I bring my shoulders back just a little bit, and my feet flatten out just a little bit. These movements need to be slow so you can control them a little bit better. So now on the flattened feet, the only thing to do here is relax the hands, and the shoulders will come straight down with those relaxing hands, and the pressure will not change on your feet. When it does for many of you, because you're going to be thinking about this too much, find movements just to bring that body back and relax, relax, relax. You're going to have to continuously go back and relax your hands, to relax your shoulders, let them drop. Only then will you be able to start to bend these knees. And you saw with mine, I started to bend, and I wasn't even aware of it when I was going through part of that. You're up here. Get shoulders, find where you're not moving around. Relax those arms. Then add a little bending of the knees. Now, the other thing you need to remember is it's okay to stick your butt out. And many of you will not do that because of the stiffness in the guarding. But as you come down and these knees start to flex, the knees are moving forward, so this needs to move out to counterbalance those, and these need to also come forward because everything counterbalances. So again, from way up here, unsteady on your feet, stiffen straight, get on those flattened feet, stay there, relax the hands, let the shoulders drop, and then you start down with the knees and counterbalance it with shoulders and hips. Now, a problem many of you are going to have, and this applies to even those people with normal natural movements. When you start thinking about how to do this stuff, you're going to mess it up because you're thinking about what's supposed to move where, and you're trying to control it up here when your body is saying, hey, stop the nonsense and just let me do this. Just let me do it on my way. So for the normal, natural moving people, that's all you have to do. For those of you with this starting stiffened posture, you're going to have to help it a little bit. And one good thing to fall back on is all I'm doing when I'm coming down is I'm starting to sit. Use that. I'm just starting to sit. How much your shoulders come forward depends on the pressure in your feet. Depends on how much your knees and hips, and all you need to know about all that is I'm just moving them, letting them move, fall into place to keep the pressure on my feet in the middle, flat feet. Now, if the pressure starts to get forward in your feet as you're coming down, your shoulders are too far forward, so you bring them back just a little bit. If you're starting to get back on your heels, just the opposite. You need to bring your shoulders forward just a little bit. All of this needs to be slow, deliberate movements and small movements. If you try to do big corrections, you're going to have big overcorrections, and you're going to have more problems. So that's enough for right now. We will hop into another video and go further into some of that. But for now, practice